loud. Okay, got that going. Admit all.
All right. I think we're good, so we can get started. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our Action Activities webinar. I am Britney Roberson, the Choice Neighborhood Initiative Coordinator. I'm joined by Barb Scotty and Bobby McQuay. You guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Bobby McQuay, the Community Outreach and Safety Specialist for Near West Side Partners.
I'm Barb Scotty, the Near West Side Partners Community Coordinator.
So one of the things that we will ask as we start going through our webinar, number one, if everybody could mute, that would be awesome. If you have questions, what we'll ask you to do, if you go to the bottom of the screen, there is a button located below that says chat. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them there. And after we go through all the information, we will come back and we will answer your questions. All right. So we are trying to make sure that we keep this as a 30-minute webinar. We know people don't like things that take up huge chunks of their time. And we also know it could get kind of draining. So our aim is 30 minutes. So with that being said, we're going to get started. Sounds like you could hear all my buttons clicking, Bobby.
Yeah, it's a nice sound.
So let me just check. I did see, well, I can't do it right now. I did see that there was one question. I was trying to catch it early, but I'm sorry. So we'll just get started and we'll go back. Right. Okay, so again, today is our Action Activities webinar. The 3 goals that we want to accomplish with this webinar, number 1 is that we're giving everybody an overview of what Choice Neighborhood Initiative is. Number 2, that everybody is getting an understanding of what the Choice Neighborhood Action Activities consist of. Our 3rd thing is our blight reporting here in the Near West Side. And our goal 4 for this webinar is just our COVID-19 donations. So then for those who don't know, there is a map right here of what the Near West Side is. So as we start talking about things like having that understanding that the Near West Side is bordered by these 7 different neighborhoods. So I'm up first with Choice Neighborhood Initiative. So in 2018, Near West Side Partners and Marquette University were awarded a Choice Neighborhood Initiative Planning Grant. It is a 3.5-year grant and it is $1.3 million. The goal of this plan is to develop a transformation plan for the entire Near West Side, but also to put a focus on a public housing development. And for us, that's College Court, which is located on 33rd and Highland. We have, with this grant, 3 different areas of focus. 1 is neighborhood. So we're looking at our commercial corridors and economic development in the neighborhood. That also looks at safety conditions in our neighborhood. The second area is people. People looks at the resources and the assets we have in the neighborhood that our residents can take advantage of. So it's more like, what is it that you need as a resident? Is it in the neighborhood? And if it's not, how can we work to start ensuring that we have those things in the neighborhood? Our 3rd bucket is housing. So again, looking at that redevelopment plan for College Court, but also looking at the housing stock and housing conditions in the entire Near West Side. So what are action activities? So a lot of the times I feel like when people hear the name community improvement projects, that has like a stronger understanding for people, especially because like it's something that the city use. So for us, action activities are a lot like community improvement projects. For us, the funding comes from HUD to support physical improvements and then economic development activities. And so how I just stated that there's $1.3 million for this planning grant. $950,000 of this grant is going to be used for action activities. So this is one of the reasons why we wanted to have the webinar. Two, wanted to make sure that people had an understanding of what the action activities are. And then number three is to get an understanding of how you could submit your ideas. So examples of action activities. And as we go through, and please know like these are not the end all be all of action activities, that there are more, but we just wanted to set some form of context for people to get an understanding of like what kind of ideas you can submit. And these are things that we have seen done across, the US. One of the really interesting things to me about this is that we are one of the first grantees for the planning grant to receive the action activity dollars. So that's something exciting for our neighborhood. But looking at examples, we can, some of the ideas is transforming our vacant lots, neighborhood murals, reconstructing our bus stops, and then improving our green spaces. Again, that is not all that we are limited to. So at any point, if you feel like you have an idea, please go in and submit it. We will take all of the ideas. What kind of projects are not eligible? Because we are using federal funds to do this, there are some things that we cannot, we can't support with the grant, or the correction, the grant won't allow us to support. So some of those are like non-physical uses, basic infrastructure that's provided by the government. So that, and that ties into the replacement of the municipal services. So anything that the county, city, or state is supposed to be covering, we can't cover as we are planning our ideas for action activities. So we may just want to keep that in mind. The fourth thing is the individual physical improvements to housing. And it's not to say that we can't do like a home improvement grant for the entire Near West Side. What this means is like, if Miss Johnson across the street is like, oh, I have an idea, let me submit my idea to get the siding redone on my home, like that doesn't count. It has to be something that can impact everybody and not just one person. So as you're going through your ideas, please keep that in mind, that it has to be something that impacts a large amount of people and not just the individual. Our last thing is just our individual services. So like looking at individual services, like if we decided that we wanted to do a program, or there's a program that was going to be developed, if we wanted to pay for staffing, like that's something that the grant won't cover. So then our responsibility would be to look at what other resources to actually pay for that service. So we wouldn't be able to do that. The only other thing I would say to that too is like, if people are looking for individual things to be done in their homes, that's also something that we wouldn't be able to cover with the grant funding. But again, like if it's something that we can find that impacts a large scale of our neighborhood, that's an idea that we can submit. There are no bad ideas. For us, this is something new. We do know that once we have the ideas, we then there's a process that we have to go through with it. So the first thing is like so the deadline for our project ideas is this Friday, April 24th. It is a Google form and we'll go through it. It's not very long. And people will follow up with you after you submit your idea if we have any questions. So where it asks for your contact information, please be sure to include that. But again, we do know that it'll have to go through a process. So our first draft of our action activities is due to HUD June 5th. And so our final draft of our action activities is due September 5th. Throughout this process, at some point, we're not quite sure what it looks like because it's something new, is that these ideas then have to run through Congress for approval. which is why we're having everybody like submit all your ideas. We're going to push them forward and see how many we can get through. Again, we're not sure what that looks like yet. So I'm sorry if you ask questions about it. I can't see right now, but if some of your questions is what that process looks like, I actually wouldn't be able to provide you an understanding of that right now. So I'm sorry for that. But as soon as we have better understanding of what that looks like, I can share. So now we're just going to take a look at the actual action activity. So if you go to our website, just to give people some understanding of where you could submit your ideas. On our website, there is a tab that is for action activity, well, for choice neighborhoods. So it's just called CNI as short. But as you go in, there's a tab about where you can learn about the grant and what we've been doing. There's a tab about the action activities, which is our most important thing that we're discussing today. There's our meetings and there's our CNI documents. So again, right now we're just going through our action activities and once you look at this, it kind of gives you the breakdown, like $950,000, as I let you all know before. Things that we do know is that like it has to be a project that can be completed within 12 months. So within a year's time. So after we submit the grant in September with those action activities, we know that it'll take a couple of months for us to get that clearance that we need. So I would imagine by like late fall, maybe early, and this is just a guess, I don't really know, possibly early 2021 is when we would start working to implement our strategies. But the website gives you some insight into, some of the questions you may have around funding, how our action activities are selected. So just so everybody has an understanding, each project is going to be scored 1 through 5. It looks at a multitude of things. So that's looking at like community need, feasibility, neighborhood equity, organization capacity, overall impact, cost, resident engagement, and sustainability. We know that not all projects can be completely funded by HUD, so there is a possibility that we'd have to look at other funding options to help us get to where we want to be with some of our ideas, and that is completely okay. So if you have an idea of where you can get funds, like additional funds to help pay for the cost, please include that in your breakdown, and if not, it's okay. We will work it out together. It's okay. Just get those ideas in, right? But if you go in, again, there's more about like what examples are of the action activities. When you actually go to submit, you'll just click this tab here that says submit ideas here, and it'll take you over to our wonderful Google form. Again, not real long. It gives you the same information that it gave you on the website. It'll ask you for your email, name your project, your contact information, estimated cost, a brief description of what your action activity is, if it fits into the criteria for our transformation plan. So just so you all are aware, our draft transformation plan is located on the Near West Side website under the CNI tab. So you can look to see if it meets some of the criteria. It's okay if you don't know it all. We also will double check, but the more you can help us, the easier we can get everything done. So thank you all for that. Again, looking at those possible funding sources, looking at how you involve residents and neighbors, and then what organizations you think could help. And then like if you have any questions or additional concerns, you can place them in right there. We will be following up. Okay. So that is the gist of our action activities. So again, applications due Friday, April 24th. Thank you. Bobby, you're up.
All right. I hope you all are having a good evening, and thank you all for joining us to hear our webinar. I'm going to cover the portion of blight reporting. You guys may have heard about blight reporting several times by now, but just because we're going through the COVID-19 season, the blight reporting don't stop. We're continuing to utilize our community ambassadors to do blight reporting. But we also like to, enlist more help from community residents if possible. And I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do that, what we've done today. All right. The Near West Side Partner Safety Ambassadors. Our safety ambassadors are actually employees of Garda World. They're hired through the Near West Side Partners to provide security aspect and also help us with littering and community outreach. The ambassadors conduct weekly blight sweeps to address the litter and trash in our areas. They go through alleys, they go through businesses, they go to some of places that in our communities that we normally kind of have like out of sight, out of mind, the T alleys, dead end alleys, and they do online service reporting to the city of Milwaukee to let them know, hey, this is what we see out here. And they not only use the online service app, they take pictures and attach it as well. Since the beginning of this year, the ambassadors have made 117 online service requests to the city of Milwaukee. That's a lot of blight reporting in a relatively short amount of time. We can go to the next slide. Oh. Okay. So, as I was stating before, we encourage residents to help us with this reporting. You guys are best to help because you have the eyes and the ears in areas where we are not. You can give us a call and say, hey, Bobby, this is what we're seeing over here, and that's fine. But there's also a way that you can make an online service request yourself and have the record for yourself. And we're going to go through the process. You will have to first download the Milwaukee app. And once you download the app, it's going to give you a series of steps that need to be completed. So the first thing, step one, from your home screen, after you downloaded the app, you'll get a home screen. And your home screen says file a new report. You'll click on the file a new report button. Thank you, Brady, for identifying it. And once you've clicked that button, it's gonna ask another series of questions. Choose a report category to report from the list. It covers a variety of different things that you can report, and this is only from the Department of Neighborhood Services as well. It goes into the Department of Public Works too, and depending on your complaint, it automatically send it to the right department. You can talk about graffiti, complaints about debris or littering, potholes, complaints about tall weeds or grass, abandoned vehicles, vehicles parked on an illegal surface. In the city of Milwaukee, the ordinance states that if a vehicle is parked on it, it must be paved. That could be concrete or gravel rocks, but without concrete or gravel rocks there in a controlled environment, the vehicle could be considered to be legally parked, even if it's in someone's backyard, on the grass, on the side of the house. That's illegal surface. You can make a complaint about street lighting, missed garbage collections, and special pickups. In our area, special pickups is it's probably one of the most complaints that we use. This is a situation where you may see tires, where someone just illegally dumped in tires, or they threw out furniture. They may have got something new and they threw out furniture and it appears to be on the curve, but it's big. Washing machines, things of that nature. No matter what it is that you're concerned about, you can put that in the complaint. And if we go to the next step, okay, enter all mandatory reporting fields marked with a star. All reports require location to be entered. So the thing to really take note to is that you really have to kind of be a little accurate on your location. If you're not exactly sure what the location is, there's two things you can do. If you have an iPhone, you could go take a picture on the spot and it'll normally give you a location or identifier. And that's really crucial too for pictures. Because maybe you don't have the exact location. Sometimes it's in a vacant lot and they don't have an address in front of it. It could be city owned or it could be privately owned. However, if you take a picture and the picture is attached to it, then they have a reasonable way of trying to figure out if it's in the 2300 block of North 27th Street. Then that would give them direction to the vacant lot. And if you see the part where it says additional information, if you click on that, it allows you to give a brief description as to what exactly it is you're talking about. The more comprehensive you make this complaint, the better shot you have of getting it actually taken care of by the city. Okay, and once you've made the complaint, you're going to get a screen that says, hey, Abandoned vehicle, which was what you reported, is going to give you a reference number, date, and the time that the report was made. And this is important because once you make this report, the city is going to ask you to have a email address or a phone number in which they can reach you. Most of the time, we use the email address. And the good thing about the email address is that it sends you a record that, A, you made the complaint, they've received it, and B, in a week or two, or depending on how long it takes them to get to the issue and address it, they send you back another follow-up email that says this has been closed and what they've done. And that's good for you to keep. And if you notice right there, it says my reports. Every time you make an online service complaint, it's kept in the log by the city, and you'll then be able to click on my reports to see how many reports you made. So I hope this information helps, and showing you guys how to do an online service request on your own. If you're still having questions and concerns, please feel free to contact me at 414-349-3400. And something that we're working on with the city of Milwaukee as well during the COVID-19 is ways of how to keep our community informed of what's going on. There's a lot of misinformation going around the community. So in addition to the online service request, we're working with the Department of Neighborhood Service Inspector, Stephanie. And what Stephanie does is she put together a group that's called Community Connect. And what this group addresses is how we can make sure that we're getting the same information out of each neighborhood. And we like to connect with residents, block leaders, anyone that wants to be in the know on how to share information or spreading the right information from the city of Milwaukee. And the right information is in regards to paying rent. What is the rule? Do you have to pay rent? I'm getting the right information out there, as the right information as well as paid sick leave, what the city of Milwaukee is recognizing and what the state of Wisconsin is doing. These are all big issues in our community right now, and we would hate to, when this situation is over, that we have a rash of evictions or we have a rash of people getting fired because they got misinformation or they was taken advantage of by some situation. So with our Community Connect project, this is our way of working with the city of Milwaukee to further keep community residents in the know. With that being said, thank you guys. Appreciate you taking the time to listen to me.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us as well. I'm doing a little multitasking with some private private chatting. And so if you do have questions, you're welcome to go ahead and bring those up and we will get those answered. One of the big reasons that we are here tonight is related to the HUD grant, the Choice Neighborhood Initiative grant, and specifically College Court. You'll notice those beautiful complexes in the picture. And that complex has 250 residents, and they are senior and disabled residents here in the city of Milwaukee. And they are in need of supplies. Just like us, they need that toilet paper or laundry detergent, bar of soap. And what we are doing is collecting items for those folks. So because due to their limited ability to get out, the safety of being able to get out, and the limited access of stores within our neighborhood, we wanted to make sure and step in and help out with those, for what some of those needs are for our residents in College Court. So if you do have any supplies you would like to donate, doesn't have to be a lot, even just 2 rolls of toilet paper. If you think if everyone did 2 rolls of toilet paper, or a tube of toothpaste, what we'd come up with and how we could benefit the residents. You can take your donations to the near West Side Waypoint, and that is located at 35th and Juneau. It's in the Harley-Davidson parking lot. The best way to access that parking lot is entering through Juneau Avenue. And the Waypoint office will be accepting donations between 9:30 and 4:30 every day. There's a bin outside, so all you need to do is pull up to the curb, drop off your donations, and then one of our team will pop out and pick it up after you drive away. So everyone should be nice and safe, and we'll make sure that we're well distanced. The office number is 1201Q, And it's pretty easy to see with those bright big stickers and our nice A-frame out there. So let your family and friends know. If folks are limited in would like to donate and you can't get there, especially if the weekends may be better, then let me know. I'm happy to arrange a pickup so we can assure that your donations are shared with the residents. Next, as another big piece of this, is the reason we're doing this is because of the COVID-19. And Near Westside Partners is constantly keeping up information on our website. So as Brittany had showed you earlier, you go to the website and there's that big green bar right on top, and you can click right there. And our Associate Director, Lindsay, is working hard every day, getting information with from many of our partners and various resources, so you have a one-spot go-to. As Bobby mentioned, there's a lot of information floating around, and we want to make sure you have correct information so you can make good decisions. And so you'll find that information here. You'll also find the information about the app for Milwaukee to be able to report problems. And then of course, all the CNI information we've talked about. So it's a great resource. Take a look at it, and hopefully that'll help you out as you move forward through the next few weeks. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And wash your hands.
Thanks, Barb. All right. So with that being said, we are going to move over to the questions. So if you have questions, please go ahead and drop those in if you haven't already done so.
And there is a question. There's a house on my block that has been abandoned and the back door has been kicked in. Who would I report this to?
Thank you, Denise. I did see that pop up. And if you could send me the address, I could have the ambassador stop by tomorrow, take a look at it, and make an online service request to the city of Milwaukee to make sure that they could come out and board it up.
So one of the things I will tell you, because I see some of their questions are like, can you hear me and see me? No, we cannot, because we have everybody is muted. So at this point, you are only hearing me, Bobby, and Barb. And like, if you have questions, go ahead and drop it in the chat for us. Okay.
I think that's, let's see.
Okay. There's a question from JT. It says, is this app now working? I tried it, but most of the complaints are not being updated or emailed.
To my knowledge, it's working fine. Okay, hold on. I got it. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My knowledge is working fine. The ambassadors use it every day, and myself. What type of phone you have? So I know at a point where they really just started working with the iPhone.
Okay.
So JT, what you might want to try is to go back to your app store and the updated app. See would that work?
He says he has a Pixel, or she. I'm not sure if JT
Okay.
is.
So yeah, JT, what I would suggest is removing the app that you got and go back and get a newer updated app. That may make the difference.
What is the name for the app in the App Store?
It's the city of Milwaukee.
So I think, let me see, because I think I have it on my phone.
And again, you can go to the website and that has the pictures that Bobby showed and helps walk you through that. And certainly give us a call. I did give you Bobby's phone number as a resource if you're having questions.
And you might want to try, because I have iPhone, and the way it's showing up on mine, it just said Milwaukee 311. And then this is what it looks like when you start to pop it open. There's that. Uh-oh. All right. Jeff has a question. Oh, no. He just wanted to thank us. A longtime preschool teacher at Neighborhood House who lives on the near west side called me today all excited because she received a NWSP COVID era rental support grant. She's very happy and we both appreciate you. Aw, thanks. We are happy that we can help support our neighbors and our friends as we go through this very difficult time, because it is a struggle for us, like especially as people who kind of get out and get to talk to people quite frequently. Being stuck in a house for a month has been a little bit of a challenge. So we are happy that we get to interact with y'all in any capacity possible. I think it's been real interesting for all of us learning how to work all the online options that we get to communicate. So we are trying our best. We hope you are too. We hope you're all staying healthy.
Denise, I know you can hear me. All right, yeah. The situation that we talked about last week, I've given that information to the CPU team. You're welcome.
Okay. Are there any more questions? All right. Well, if there are no more questions, we are wrapped up. We went about 2 minutes over, but I think we did pretty good at keeping this at a half an hour. So thank you all. Please remain healthy. Please take your vitamins. Please do all of the healthy. Wash your hands, all of that. Disinfect things. Do it all. We want to see everybody stay healthy. So thank you. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.